Welcome to another installment of TSI's real-time product training videos. I'm Greg Olson, TSI's Global Product Manager for the Health and Safety Instrument line.
And I'm John Morton, a Health and Safety Application Specialist here at TSI. Today we're going to walk you through the MITA initial setup. It's important to note that these instructions, including pictures, are included in the MITA Quick Start Guide and the MITA Manual.
Let's get started.
Let's get started.
Now you'll note we picked the MITA off the top of the MITA case. That's where all of the components are located. John?
The rest of the general accessories are actually located in the bottom part of the case. First off is the hood that's used with the MITA for the self-checks and the protection factor test. Now, though we're not going to use this hood in this presentation, it is important to note that when you're packing the MITA up, the hood should be to the left-hand side of the case so that it does not interfere with the CEU when that's flipped over.
John, you want to pull that?
I'm going to move this out of the way.
Next, John's going to pull out the MITA head form.
The MITA head form here, Greg, if you want to go ahead and install that into the head form base.
Now, installing this into the head form base, just gently push it into place. Make sure that it pushes down into place such that the line on the gray part of the MITA head form is below the top of the bracket, the mounting bracket that it fits into.
Next, we're going to take a look at some of the MITA general components. The MITA does include this handy accessory kit, and this does hold all of the general components needed for the MITA. But it is important to note that the MITA also requires a MITA mask adapter kit. So if you're familiar with port account fit testing, each mask needs a fit test adapter kit. With the MITA, each mask needs a mask adapter kit. Set that over there.
And each of these adapter kits will be different from each other, so you need to look at what mask you're going to be testing to ensure that you get the right kit and have the right components to do final testing.
And of course, the other major component needed with the MITA is the port account itself. The MITA does work with the 8030, 8038, 8020, and 8020M models of port account. For right now, we've just got the 8030. So, let's flip the MITA around and hook up our power connections. On the back of the CEU, we've got our communication connections and our power connections.
The power connection is labeled 20 to 32 VDC, and we have a universal power supply so that will go from 90 to 240 volts worldwide. And all you do is to put the power connector on top of the receptacle and then just gently twist it around until it pushes down and then locks in place. There's only one way to get this connected. Once it's secure, all you do is push the power button to on, the green light comes on, and on the back side of the unit here, all of the lights will turn on in the front display.
Next thing we're going to need to hook up is the communications cable to communicate with the port account. The MITA does come with an 8030 and 8038 communications cable. Again, it's a yellow ringed connector on the back of here to hook up to a yellow ringed connector on the MITA. Almost everything on the MITA is color coordinated. And just like the power supply, we're going to twist that connection until we feel it click in, and then turn the end of it to lock it into place.
Now you'll notice on this communications cable that there are two cables. One is the gray COM cable, and the other is a white power cable. The power cable is actually going to plug into the port account. You do not use a port account power supply. The port account is actually getting its power from the MITA, the Mask Integrity Test Accessory. And then the communications cable for the 8030 and 8038, you'll be required to use a serial to USB adapter. Okay? You will not need to use this piece right here if you're using an 8020M green port account or an 8020 blue port account. Those are both the second generation port accounts. Those will just require the use of the serial COM. So I'm going to plug the USB cable into the back of the port account, Now we're ready to go. John, I believe we can turn the media around. Be sure to keep all your cables on the back side.
Now we're going to go ahead and hook up some of the tubing that's needed. First off, we're going to hook up the drink tube. Drink tube, again, this has got an orange quick connect fitting on it. That's going to go to the orange quick connector on the CEU unit.
I'll hook that up. Now, it should be noted that all of the quick connects, the orange, the yellow, and the blue, all have different size fittings so that they cannot be misconnected.
Next thing we're going to want to do is get the aerosol generator set up. The MITA does come with a bottle of 500 milliliters of emery oil. We already have the aerosol reservoir filled with emery oil.
Now, we don't have exact numbers on how many mask integrity tests you're going to get, whether it's a CBRN or an APR SCBA, but you will literally get thousands of tests out of a bottle, a single jar. So don't worry about how many you're going to get. You'll have plenty of oil to get going.
And now what I'm doing here is I'm removing the aerosol generator holder bracket, which is set in place on top of the MITA this way, and I simply flip it around so it sits off to the side, and I'm going to screw it back in.
Yep, so just flip it 180 degrees, and now the reservoir, the aerosol generator reservoir with the emery oil in it, slides into place here and is held captive.
Now to complete the aerosol generator setup, I need to disconnect this blue fitting from the top of the aerosol generator lid. It's important to note that anytime you're going to pack up the MITA, you want to make sure that this aerosol connection here is back into the aerosol generator lid. But for now, we're going to hook it up to the corresponding blue connection on the back of the MITA. And we're going to take the aerosol mixer, and we're going to hook this fitting to the aerosol generator lid, and we're going to take the aerosol mixer and connect that to the blower exhaust port located on the MITA. Now all we need to do is we need to hook up our port account. Again, the MITA already has power supplied to the port account, so all we need to hook up is the blue and clear tubing. Now blue and clear tubing is sent with the MITA, and it's important to use the blue and clear tubing sent with the MITA, not the tubing sent with the port account. The reason being is that the end of it is offset differently. You'll notice that for the MITA, the end of this tubing is offset by only about 1 inch. For the port account, it would be closer to 5 to 6 inches. So again, just make sure you're using the tubing that came with the MITA.
For our friends that are in the metric world, that inch is about 3 centimeters or about 15 centimeters with the port account.
And again, just like in the port account, you hook up the blue tubing to the blue nozzle, clear tubing to the silver nozzle. In this case, we're going to hook up the clear tubing to the port located at the base of the mask head form.
Yep.
Again, same as in fit testing, the clear tubing is going to take an aerosol sample from inside the mask. The blue tubing takes an aerosol ambient sample that will be from inside the hood.
Inside the environment in the hood, where all the aerosol is building up, the particles are building up, so that we do the integrity test.
Now the last thing I just want to show you is, again, we mentioned in the beginning that all of these instructions are included in the MITA Quick Start Guide. They are also included on the screen of the MITA itself. So at the top of the MITA screen, we've got the title of whatever menu you're under. We've got the various menu options, and then at the bottom of that screen, we show the instructions or a description of what that function does. So literally the MITA can walk you through step by step. Also, we've got 4 buttons to the side and 6 buttons along the bottom, and anytime there's a corresponding option, you're going to see that option appear right next to those buttons.
Well, that takes care of our initial setup of the MITA, the Mask Integrity Test Accessory for the port account. We will be conducting 2 other videos on the system checks and then conducting mask integrity testing with CBRN and APR SCBA masks. So look for those in the near future. Again, this is Greg Olson.
John Morton.
Thank you for attending our real-time product training video.